Hello and welcome to part 3 of the two-player tennis game tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the ball interact with the rackets and how to make it spin left or right across the screen when it touches the racket. So let's jump right into it. Go ahead and load up your project if you have it saved on your computer, or log into your account and open up the project that you've been working on. And then head on over to the ball sprite and select it. So what we want to do is program the ball to detect each of the sprites. Now each of the racket sprites are made up of 2 sprites. So we can use that to our advantage to dictate how we have the ball travel across the screen. So for example, if it's touching the left racket's top sprite, it'll cause the ball to rotate the opposite direction, which will change its trajectory to go the opposite way, and then we can have it angle up so that way it travels at an angle across the screen and bounces and then go towards the opposing side. And we can do that for the lower one, making it go down to the lower part of the screen. And this creates an idea that when we hit the tennis ball, we're making it spin across the stage. So to do that, what we're going to need are 2 if blocks from control. So we'll go ahead and drag those out. Just need 2 of those. Okay, now that we have the if blocks, we need to go into the sensing area, and we're going to drag out 2 touching blocks, and we're going to set each of these touching blocks to one of the sprites that make up the left racket. So we have left racket top and left racket bottom, and we're going to place those into separate if blocks, and then we'll stack those together. Next, what we're going to do is go into motion, and we're going to grab the point and direction, and we're going to put those in, so we need 2 of them. We're going to put both of those in the if blocks. And we're going to set those to -90. So -90. Do that for the other one as well. Next, what we want to do is spin the ball, so that way it changes direction depending on what part of the racket it touches. So if it's touching the top one, it's going to go to the top of the screen. If it's touching the bottom one, it'll go to the bottom of the screen. And to do that, we're going to use 2 turn blocks. We're going to do turn right and turn left. So if we want to go to the bottom of the screen, we're going to do the turn right block and set that to 30 degrees. And if we want to turn left, we're going to use, or if we want to go to the top of the screen, we'll use the turn left block and set that also 30 degrees. Then we'll place that underneath the point and direction blocks. So if it's touching the top block, we want to make sure it goes to the left, and then if it's going to the bottom, we want to go right. Alright, now let's place that inside the when I receive start area here. I'm going to place that right under the move speed steps block. And then we're going to run the program and see what happens. Oh, and it looks like we put the point and direction in the wrong area. So let's just fix that real quick. We'll switch that back to 90. I'll switch this one to 90. And let's give that another try. There we go. Now the ball is bouncing across the screen. So if I touch the top of the racket, it goes to the top. If I touch the bottom, it'll go to the bottom. And you can see with the way the ball has been drawn, that's lighter on one side. If I touch it with a part of the racket, it makes the ball look like it's spinning. So I'm going to stop the code right there. So now we have to do this for the other racket as well. And we can easily do that by just duplicating the code from here down. So we're going to right click and then we're going to duplicate. Now we're just going to change a few things. So if we want the ball to go to the top of the screen, we're just going to switch this to right racket top. And this one down here to go to the bottom of the screen, right racket bottom. And then we're going to change the point and direction to -90. On both of the blocks here. And then we're just going to place that underneath the last if block here. Now let's see if that works. So there it goes. Now if we go up to the top. Oh, and what we have to do is just change the rotation. So I'm going to stop the code there. And what we're going to do is swap this rotation block with this one here. And that should fix our code. So if I hit the go button again, let's see if that fixed it. That should go to the top, and goes to the bottom, that one goes to the bottom. Perfect. There we go. Now we have the ball interacting with the rackets and spinning across the field. So I'm going to stop the code right there. So if you notice when I was playing the game, the ball got stuck in that infinite loop where you could just place the paddles in a certain area and the ball would just keep bouncing between the two. What we need to do is add a little bit more variety to the control of our paddles and the ball, or the rackets and the ball. So how to do that, we're going to use two more if statements. So we're going to head over to control, we're going to grab two if blocks, and we're going to stack those together. Next we're going to need an operator. We're going to need the operator AND, because both need to be true for this to happen. Now that we have that, what we're going to do is go back into sensing and grab 4 touching blocks. And if you've guessed it, we're going to use that so that way the ball can detect if it's touching a paddle or a racket or not. So what we're going to do is use one of the AND blocks with the left racket, so the left racket top and bottom, and we're also going to use the other AND statement for the right racket's top and bottom. So let's put this all together here. So we're going to do one for the right racket, and we're going to do one for the left racket. And this will add a slighter spin than the sharp spin that we added to the ball. So instead of it sharply going in an angle, it'll just start slowly going back to the center of the screen. And this will add some more variety, so that way the paddles don't just get stuck bouncing the ball back and forth between each other. And that way players can actually score some points. So it doesn't matter which ones you put on top or the bottom. I put the right on top. Now what we're going to do is go to the motion blocks and grab a turn left and a turn right. And this is totally up to you what you want to do. For me, the right racket, I'm going to say turn left or turn right 15 degrees. And then for the left racket, I'm going to say turn left minus 15 degrees. Now what will happen is if this ball sprite here touches both of them, it will change the rotation of the ball by that many degrees. And of course we also need to grab the point and direction block too. So if we are going to the right racket, that'll be -90. And if we are going to the left racket, that'll just be 90 degrees. And with that, we should probably switch these around. So this should be -15, and this should just be 15. Alright, now we're going to place that at the bottom of the last if statement, and let's give that a try and see what happens. So if you notice now, there's a sharp one, and see how that tapered off and just started going to the center of the screen because I touched both the center and that, and there we go. So now the ball will go slightly more towards the center, which will give more variety in how it moves across the screen. Alright, so I'm going to stop the code there. And I want to thank you for watching this video. And in the next one, I'll show you how to end the game with the game over screen and add a way to collect score to see which player has won the tennis match. So thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.